either have to leave or get involved. You can't be on your phone. Seriously. It looks horrible.
I'm gonna be on my knee.
Huh?
What do you think
I
of
ain't
that?
getting involved in this.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I want no part of
I'm
that.
gonna be on my phone. What do you think of that?
No, you're not
I do what
allowed to
I
be
want.
on. You're not allowed to be on your phone.
I do what I want, Todd.
Don't touch that.
I'm just looking at the
Why is
picture.
it crooked? It looks crooked.
You, every time.
Let me see.
Come on, Billy.
There you go, Billy. Right there. Perfect. It's perfect. Perfect.
Does it need more light?
It's a little dark. You can't see your faces.
Is that good?
Yeah, I think you guys.
That is actually pretty good.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That works.
Good job, Todd.
Thanks. Dude.
Is Scott coming?
Here.
No, that's Billy's.
No, you need to have some because you're.
Billy's. Billy wouldn't touch that with a freaking tip.
That's Billy's.
Oh.
Why is everything mine?
Well, I'm just saying because like
It's like mine. They want me to throw up.
like you're not
Projectile.
you're not fun.
Huh?
Like I don't even want you in the. I don't even want you in it now.
All right. Perfect. I'll go to bed.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to. Now you got to sit here.
Let me tell y'all how bad fishing's been.
No. Yeah. So here's what I want to say.
He doesn't get to talk about how bad fishing is.
No. Bass angler therapy. We're gonna talk about all. We're gonna talk about bass fishing for about 30 seconds because that's about all. When you agree.
We've started already, right?
Oh, it started long ago.
It started long ago.
Lights.
Okay.
We're
We
gonna-
started with
So
the
it's going to be,
last
it could be a 30 to 45 minute video. It could be 20 minutes. 90% of it's going to be about anger. Bass fishing is going to be about 30 seconds of it. And
I've
then
got some anger.
the therapy part is going to be me and you wrestling. Where I'm gonna, like, that's going to be the therapy that I need. And then we need to shut you down a little bit.
He's been wanting to wrestle you.
He has.
Since we got here. What is the deal?
He likes picking on the little
He started
He's the
it.
littlest guy in the house.
Yeah, but he talked about wrestling me the other day. He brought it
scared
up.
of you.
Huh?
I'm not scared of you.
I didn't say you were. You were the one that brought it up to me.
He said he was going to throat punch you if
There's
you
a
try to
difference.
wrestle him.
He did say that.
That means I'm going to wrestle him.
Oh,
You can't let someone just throat punch you.
okay. Let's
Don't
go.
turn your hat back around. This isn't over the top. You're not Sylvester Stallone about to freaking arm wrestle me.
Andrew's got his backwards.
Yeah, but he's kind of like a kid.
He always wears his backwards.
It's my jam.
It's kind of bothered me because I like sit back and
He gets made fun of a lot, but he doesn't care.
I don't care.
They're all the older guys are like, "Hey man, you're over 20. Wear your hat normal." He doesn't care.
Never cared.
So I'm over 20, and anyone watching this video, this is the worst beer on the planet, and I'm drinking it because it's all we have, and
You don't like it?
it's terrible, dude. I don't know how y'all drink it. I really don't. It is like I'm drinking it, so I guess.
Well, you do realize it might have been in a cooler
it has.
in the
It
back.
doesn't matter if it's the freshest off the truck. I've had it all because
It
you
was
guys all buy it. I do not care.
I've been buying Corona lately.
Coronas. Like, so here are my two favorite beers. Cold and free. So, you know, I mean, I'm not, it's just that.
I had to fix the social
Not
post.
very
My
good.
bad. Work thing, man. Work
Those
thing.
beers have been in the cooler with the rotten strawberries that Jake's dropped for 2 weeks, right? Rotten strawberries.
And
You
rotten
opened it?
rotten sandwich.
Oh, it was
It
bad.
was gay.
He said it
It
was
reminded me
rancid.
of a carp situation.
Like a carb bag.
Yeah. Yeah. Long story.
I don't know.
Or beaver hunting.
I don't know if we've ever been.
Or beaver hunting.
Beaver.
Huh?
He likes the beaver.
That's an inside. You don't get that?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's trying to play it off in front of the camera, Bradley.
Oh.
That's the brightest shirt I've ever
You
seen.
said beaver.
Like,
Very right.
do y'all? Would y'all agree that this might be the most angriest we've ever been at a tournament?
Towards one another.
No, it's definitely not.
No.
No, it's
Oh,
definitely
everything
not
in
that
general and towards one another, both combined.
Yeah.
Well, but you gotta remember, we've been in the house together now for 2 weeks straight.
Well,
That-
we weren't
that's
in the
what
house
I'm saying.
together. Us three were in the house together in the RV. You can't even call it a house. You can call it a bathroom.
Camper.
Yeah, a bathroom. Me, Hallman, and Billy were in a bathroom together for a week.
He was in the bathroom together with Hillary and Scott.
Yes, but he used our bathroom the entire time.
So he was kind of in ours too.
Semi, yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
Only when he went number 2. Number 1, he always went in his own.
Yeah.
He only went number 2 in ours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was good stuff. And I was done with the RV after a week.
Oh yeah. I can only RV for so long.
Dude, because I got here and I couldn't wait to do this in the shower.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, that
'cause
shower
when you usually
wasn't
do a
bad.
shower, you just do this.
Yeah.
And then I got in the shower. And I didn't even know why. I've never done this in the shower. And I just did this. It was so nice to just spread my arms out and be like,
That shower's perfect size for me.
well, yeah.
That's y'all.
It wasn't very good. Billy came out of ours and we were talking about something and he said, yeah, man. He's like, there's no water pressure. Anybody notice those long black hairs? And I was like, yeah, I seen them talk. He goes, yeah, me too. And Billy goes, I don't think any of those are ours.
Then he comes out of the bathroom one time and he was like, I'm just letting y'all know, I know how to piss in the toilet. I can aim good. All that other water in there is not from that. It's just from the shower. And I'm like, yeah, we get you.
I'm used to being with this crowd. Dude, after the first day, there's like
Pee all on the floor.
pee all over the floor, crap stains all over the backside wall. I mean, it's just like you don't want to touch anything in the bathroom.
What?
Yeah.
We actually made the comment, didn't we, in the camper? I was like, hey, dude, it could be worse. At least you with us. You know, like, it's
Dude, our camper was pretty,
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty
we
legit.
pick up after ourselves, we throw away our trash,
Yeah.
and if we forget for some reason, somebody else will pick it up.
But
and throw it
it's
away.
one piece of trash.
And we keep all our stuff centralized. Like, I'm not a neat freak, but I keep all my stuff in one spot because I know I'll lose it. you know?
Yeah. Like, I didn't have a spot.
Todd had a bag and I had a bag, and they were basically in the living room, kitchen / on the doorway
Yeah.
to the bathroom. But you could like tell Todd's stuff, my stuff, and like it didn't like fall out everywhere, did it?
And I had to leave my stuff right there because it was an easier way for me to get down sometimes. So at night, when I had to go to the restroom, like once a night, you saw my struggle with getting out of the top bunk.
Yeah, a lot of people saw your struggle.
Yeah. Well, they saw the backside of my stuff.
I think that might have gotten lost. Nobody's seen it because it's gone now. It's on its way to California.
True,
It's part of
true.
the drive.
But everyone, like that little ladder, every once in a while I'd use the ladder, and then like Holman's feet would be in the ladder, like sticking out through the ladder. And I'd be like, that's Holman's feet. Like his feet would be out through the ladder.
The bed was 5 foot.
No, I know, but I would be
I was
like,
like a foot hanging out.
the best too is like when I was sleeping in bed, I'd have, so they had no electrical outlets in that thing.
That's true.
They were
Yeah.
all by the bed. And then one up, Holman found that one up underneath the kitchen. So like I would sleep every night with like phone charger, my battery for my computer, my batteries for my GoPros. I had like an entire electrical outlet deal all where I slept. And it just all slept up there in the bed with me.
Well, that's how mine was. I actually had a power strip.
A power strip in your bed?
In my
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
I just had everything plugged in and it just like snuggled with me in bed. It kept me warm, you know.
Well, I had the master bedroom.
Yeah, we
Right?
gave
We did.
we gave you the Andrew treat.
And there
That's
was
the
no
Andrew treat.
receptacles in there.
Oh really?
Really?
0. I had to unplug the TV and plug my phone in there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Master Suite had no electrical plug-in.
0.
But what I will say is this: I drove 14 miles the entire time at Neely Henry.
Back and forth to the thing.
I don't even know where I drove 14 miles, but I'm saying in a week I drove in my truck 14 miles.
Yeah.
That's all I had to
was
drive.
right there. And like those are the things that I enjoy about camping. It's like
Yeah.
right there on the water.
The people.
To
were
the
pretty
day
good.
I die, though, I'll remember the guy. The last night we were all kind of like trying to relax, and like we were kind of done with practice, about to start the tournament, and we were cooking dinner, and this Traeger's smoking all this wonderful smell, and that guy running up and down the river, breaking in his motor in the dark,
Oh, yeah.
back and forth, like,
Yeah.
dude, this thing's 80 miles long. Why don't you keep going?
He couldn't see, and he had no lights on.
He had no graph.
So he was just going to stay.
He had
right
no
by our
graph
camper back
and no
forth.
lights on. He had just he had running lights,
His front lights.
his front lights, but he had no
I
backlight.
hope that dude made a top 10.
That dude never caught a fish.
How do you know? I agree with Todd. he didn't catch a fish.
He
There's
was
no way.
tired.
He probably overslept. He probably didn't make it to takeoff after running his boat up down by our
Dude,
lake.
you know
3
you know
hours.
how he would have made a check? By not breaking in his motor.
Ding 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 ding
Ding, 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 ding. See, Holman picked up on that. Okay, pop quiz. What am I talking about, Billy? Because Holman already figured it out.
I know what it is.
Fishing close to the landing.
Hey, good job. That's it. If he'd have said, you know what, I'm not even going to start my motor. I'm just going to put my trolling motor down. Guaranteed he would have made a check.
Hey McCoy,
We all would have.
Really?
you got oranges?
And
How are the
what-
grandparents?
Good.
Good.
So, do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Neely Henry.
What about?
Caught him on day 2. Put your head down. Picked up your one bait that you might be. What? Let me ask you a question. What are you better at, flipping or spinnerbaiting? That's a good one, huh? That's a good one. Look at it.
I know what
no,
my
no,
pick is. I know what my pick
no,
is.
no, yeah. No, I want to see. Oh no, hold on.
I probably.
Hold on. What's your pick?
Flipping all day.
What's yours?
For him,
Yeah,
flipping.
I'm gonna go spinnerbait.
I make more money flipping than I have spinning.
Yep.
Have you?
No question.
That doesn't mean you're better at it.
I think he's pretty
I've
good
done
at
it more
flipping.
than I've thrown a blade. But
Really?
Dude, but I mean they go hand in hand.
Even from Oklahoma.
It's like coffee in the morning.
You're
and
telling
sunrise.
me you flip more than you spinnerbait in Oklahoma.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You're doing something wrong, man. Because I ain't never met a guy from Oklahoma that just doesn't throw a spinnerbait no matter where he goes. I've been beaten
He
by
does
more
do
guys.
that.
I've been beaten by more guys throwing a spinnerbait in the back of my boat from Oklahoma than ever flipping. Ever.
Biggest bag I ever caught in my entire life in Oklahoma was 27 pounds. It was in a team tournament with the Great Lake, Larry Bryant, and he was one of the best spinnerbait fishermen that I'd ever been with, and that's all he did. And he was on the front deck, and I basically caught that 27 pounds behind him flipping willow trees that he had thrown a spinnerbait on. But they locked down and started spawning is what had happened. So like it's all different. So there's days where the spinnerbait would clean house, like when you and I were there. We won't talk about dates, right? Stupid, right? You're always telling me, you always throwing that stupid spinnerbait. That spinnerbait. We don't even throw spinnerbait. I don't even own a spinnerbait. You saw a light. Like it went ding, ding, ding.
No. I grew up on Livingston. And all I did
I'm
was.
talking about at Rayburn. You're like, no blade.
No. Because all I did on Livingston growing up for like 10 years was throw a spinnerbait and flip. I threw a crankbait in the summertime from like May to October. But for the most part, it was spinnerbaiting and flipping. And I cut my teeth doing that. And then I moved to Rayburn, and it was like, you could catch a fish a day on a spinnerbait, and it'd be a big one. But they didn't need it. Now, Toledo got kind of good at it, and I don't even want to let the cat out of the bag, but like the spinnerbait,
It warmed you up, didn't it?
boy, it's coming back
Yeah.
on Rayburn at like specific little windows, man. I mean, I threw it this
I
year.
know, you
top
told,
10.
I know. After Grand, you told me, you're like, dude, like, I see I've been missing some things, and like, it needs to come back in my arsenal at times. And then you took Texas, and I know you called me, and you were like, hey, dude, home, guess what? I'm like, what? And you're like, blade's working.
First FLW tour event I ever fished on Okeechobee. I was catching them on top, like on a rage bug and stuff.
Yeah. I remember that.
And remember it blew. Like
Yeah.
the weather changed and everything. And I'd already had a limit, so I was all right. And I was like, man, I think a spinnerbait would work. Dude, I freaking called every single thing I basically had and caught every single fish. Made a check, my first ever FLW tour check, all on a spinnerbait. And then 3 events that year. It was
Was that the Cumberland year?
the Cumberland spinnerbait.
Oh,
It was like
God,
3
I remember
events.
that.
I made a check on a spinnerbait, and I'm just going. I haven't thrown a spinnerbait in 6 years on all of our lakes in
So-
Texas, and all of a sudden it's like
Probably one of the
it
greatest.
works.
One of the greatest things to happen for the spinnerbait in the last 10 years has been the invention of the chatterbait.
No doubt.
And that's basically what happened to me at Neely Henry, was that the majority of all of us, right, we'll all agree, had chatterbaits laying on our decks.
I never had one.
the water willow there. That's what most guys were doing. And
Really, were
the
they?
second day, I just kind of got to thinking, let me just throw a blade a little bit because I really hadn't given it a shot. And of course, you get a couple of bites.
You were throwing it in that grass?
Mm-hmm.
My whole practice video.
Were you throwing, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
were
go
you
ahead.
throwing the finesse spinnerbait or willow leaves?
It's me.
It's a mix. It's not the little bitty Mike McClellan limit getter war eagle, but it is definitely. It was a 3/8 with the Colorado and an Indiana blade. No willows at all. It's a blade I throw a lot in the fall.
It's
that
a-
Indiana blade will get you bit in the fall,
Yeah.
big time.
That's the
So it does look finesse.
in between.
It's an in
Yes.
between. It's a finesse. It's not a big.
It's
bite.
not finessey though. It's a full size spinnerbait.
It's a spinnerbait.
But the top one's the Colorado.
The top one, yeah. The front one is the Colorado.
I love
the back
that
one's
too.
Indiana.
I like that year at Cumberland.
It's basically the
We were
classic.
pitching
Remember
bushes
you remember the
with
man's
those little
Hank
things?
Parker Classic? That's
Yeah.
what it is. It's that spinnerbait.
And here's what's crazy. Like, so my entire practice on Neely Henry, I just kept homing. Every day I woke up and went through that spinnerbait and caught them. But I never could catch one out of the grass. Like, sometimes there'd be grass around, but I didn't, it was all off the rock. And I tried off the grass, and it just never really materialized for me where I could do it. But I mean, I planned my entire tournament for the first 3 hours of throwing a spinnerbait until I figured them out. Until I figured out something in the last hour of the tournament and of practice, and then I went and ran, and then I caught every single fish doing that.
Listen, I know I said to you the first day, did you remember seeing me? But I forgot to ask you if you remember seeing me the second day.
No.
We came in there where you were fishing. The first day I saw you, where you were.
Yeah.
The second day,
Where was I
back
on-
over
on
here
day
where
one?
me and Jimmy fished that row of grass down through there. And then there's that one dock way up there, and there's all this grass in the middle. But we fished that bank. Okay, right here's where
You saw me, like, so when you make
you were
that
out in the
bend,
middle.
and I was out in the middle of the hole. Yeah.
But off that first grass line, and then there's some grass in the middle, and then the river channel, right before the big turn.
Before the big turn.
Yeah. Well,
Before your first big right hand turn. Or right before the
Going
Rainbow
back.
Bridge.
going back, the big turn.
Okay.
Where you were fishing, we were right across from it.
Yeah.
But you were there, and we came in on you, and then he circled around and came back in, and then you kept going down towards where we saw you before. But I didn't think you saw me, and I didn't holler at you.
Yes.
Anyway,
I pre-fished the entire practice. I was trying to find those offshore spots.
Yeah.
And that's what's, and I found them.
Wait, you pre-fished your entire practice.
Yeah.
Well, I would hope
I'm
you
sorry,
pre-fished your whole
I
practice.
pre-fished my entire tournament for the most part.
I was really
For the most part, other than one spot, everything I caught in the tournament was off of stuff I found in the tournament because I'd found a wad of fish out there offshore. And when I say offshore, it's still 2-3 foot, but it was right off the main river channel. And I was like, man, and there was water. Like when I caught one, there was more with it. They all came to the boat, and I should have caught them there on day one. I mean, I caught some. I think I weighed in like 4 of my fish from that spot.
from that spot there,
No, I don't think from that spot.
Oh.
But I mean, from where you saw me, I think I caught my 3-pounder. Like I was always finding new spots, and it was materialized. But I needed like 2 days to do it. I needed 2 days to know those spots, run those a bunch, and then practice.
yeah.
But still be able to run spots multiple times a day because it was a timing deal, or maybe not a timing deal, but other fish would move up there. You know.
I was curious to know if you were catching them off of that first grass line because you were
Yeah, they were not on the
we
grass
were
line.
40 yards off
Yes.
the grass, and we caught some in that grass early, and then we caught some in that grass late in the day.
So so what I first realized is there was a bar out there, and if you could find that bar, so a lot of times when the river channel would come up, it would be higher right off the river channel, and then it would drop back down. If you could find the right stuff on that first bar, which is what I found a hard spot. There was a tree there, and I'm sure people fished the tree, but they were never on the tree. They were like 30 yards from the tree, and And so it made me, like a guy on day 2 rolled up there, and I'm like, why is this guy fishing here? Well, he went to the back side of the tree to fish the current side. They were all on the front side of it, like 30 yards away, and he kind of messed it up because he didn't know any different. It wasn't his fault, but he just idled over it. And I waited till he left, and I still caught my first keeper on day 2 there. But they would get on that stuff if something was there, like a hard spot, stumps. The hard spots were better than anything. And I found it down there where you were, where me and you talked about. I found another spot down there and caught 2 keepers on day 1 there. I'd go around and fish all this stuff, and then when I'd find them, like they'd be there, and it was pretty legit. I think if you could put 10 spots like that, and I have about 8 to 10 spots now, but if I'd had 8 to 10 spots at the beginning of the tournament, and just rotated them all, I think I would have done pretty good. I found one at the end of the day too, and the problem was, you know how when you're practicing, you're going along, and a lot of times stuff happens to you. You're like, oh crap. I was going along that bend where that bend is, and I fished on day 2, never fished it, and I got right to me and you, and a 5-pounder comes up just eating shad. Like, I was like, oh my gosh. And I looked up, and I'm like, oh man, the shelf bent out just a little ways, and my boat went up on it. Like, I was going down it, and all of a sudden it kicked out. Well, if I'd have known that, I'm not saying I would have caught the fish, but I would have kicked out before I got there. But sometimes in practice, you don't know that.
Yeah.
And Holman had the same problem too. Now, he caught 12 pounds. He probably should have had 14. And I'll let him explain why. What did you figure out?
There were stretches that I didn't realize were grass. So, I was putting this all together on the day of the tournament, like you're talking about. So, I caught first fish I caught that was like a 2.5 pounder. And, it's early, and I'm thinking, like we would all be thinking on that place, wow, I got a keeper, and it's a big one, Yeah. And then I went a little further, and I caught another one, like right there. It wasn't a big one, but it was a keeper. And I kept going. I fished the entire day, just down the river, and never circled back to that spot until the end of the day, where I'm just like looking for something to do, like trying to catch another fish. Because at that point, like, I've got a pretty good bag. I've got one I need to get rid of, and so I start coming back.
Hold on, I stopped by him, and he said, "Dude, I catch a 4 or 5 pounder, I make the cut."
Yeah.
And I was going, "Damn, he's right." So I mean,
Todd goes, "That's fishing." And I go, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Dude, you're thinking right. Like that's you're right."
Like, we're trying to catch a 12-incher, and Holman's like, "I catch a 4 or 5 pounder, I make the cut." I go from nothing to, and I'm just going
0 to 0.
Yeah, I'm like that. Holman has a different mindset than everyone else in the tournament. So he's gonna catch the biggest bag of day 2. Like, that's his. And he could have. He almost should have done it.
So I roll back. What I did wrong was I stayed with that blade, even when the blade bite. Even when you pulled up to me and asked us, I said, "Dude, they're not eating as good as they were." Like, I've noticed the difference. That's when I should have changed. So it took me a longer through the day, and I'm like, man, I need to just like flip, because they're not eating this spinnerbait. The sun's high, and they're just locked up in that grass. And so I started running some banks where I'd gotten bit, grass banks, to give me more confidence. And I rolled down that stretch where I caught 2 that morning, including that big one. And I'm flipping, and I flip out to this clump that's kind of isolated at the end. And, you flip, and as soon as it goes down your line, it's just like, you know how it is. And I was like, and I'm like, ooh. It was the biggest fish of the day. Like a 2.5 pounder and a 3 pounder out of the same.
And you knew
20-yard stretch of grass.
You knew
and then
right
since that happened, I was
you
like,
messed
dude,
up.
I got 3 or 4 other grass. I had no time left to fish, and I'm thinking, I got 3 more grass lines. I guarantee I can flip one off of.
Yeah, but you knew right then, like. So, and here's what's crazy, guys. Like,
it took me too long.
Yeah, but
in practice, if we had that more figured out, you'd be more dialed in.
I know, and so I always talk about, like, when we win tournaments, right? When you won on Cherokee here last year, you already had it figured out. Mm-hmm. Like, day one, Andrew's not going. Day one, Andrew's dialed in, and we all talk about that. Like, when you win tournaments, you don't practice on the final day. It don't matter. Like, you're so dialed in, you're ready for every single change, and
that's how Cumberland was too.
Yeah, no, trust me, we know, because like Holman was like,
He ain't even getting out of bed.
Yeah, he ain't getting out of bed.
He's the first one off the water.
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, like me and Holman are out there. But what's crazy is that sometimes a lot of times we do good in tournaments because we figured out during the tournament.
Right.
And we're like, man, I missed it.
Those are the ones I'm really proud of too, though.
100%.
Because that's when all the pressure and stress is on us.
I was proud of my Hartwell finish, my Neely Henry. I literally figured out those fish with an hour left in the tournament, and I caught. And they're like, "You finished 80th." And I'm like, "Yeah, but dude,
Could finish 180.
yeah," because like I felt like I had a chance of doing something totally different than everyone else. And we're gonna get here, guys. And yesterday I felt I was dialed in. Like yesterday I thought, "Oh, I got it," and then today went downhill. And we all know that these fall events, these spring events, we all kind of know what happens when it gets cold, right? A cold front comes in, we know it's going to shut it down.
Well, it ain't even just that. What frustrates me is like bass in spring are fairly predictable.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, like you can sit there and say like we'll just say for instance you get on a bluff wall bite. They're gonna bite on that bluff wall. And if you find a stretch, you're going to catch them on that bluff wall. It doesn't matter if there's a cold front, whatever. They might bite a little different, but they're going to bite on that bluff wall at a certain point of the day. Well, now you could go find the best bluff wall in the lake, get a bite off of it, get a couple bites off of it, and then you might not ever catch another bass off of it.
But it's not even like so. Okay, so there's two variables, and this is what's happened now. This is what the new fishing. I'll call it the new era of fishing, right? There's two things, right? We got weather that usually bothers us in the springtime, and we know how to deal with it. The weather in the fall, the clouds this weekend, or the clouds that might happen Thursday in the rain, can either make them absolutely crush or turn off.
It could be the most disastrous fishing.
Right. So we never know. But here's the other thing, and we've all talked about this. And this is the number one thing for 2020. 2020 is, let's face it, guys. It is freaking COVID and everything else, and it is just screwed everyone this year. But dude, this pressure. There's the one thing we cannot control.
That's right.
The weather, you can understand. The pressure of fishermen this year.
Every fisher
is impossible to understand.
Every fisher
how it's going to
across the
affect the
country
lake.
has taken more pounding and more pressure, and it's showing up this fall in Neely Henrys and Cherokees. When we're showing up for these tournaments, because you can tell that, man, these fish have been beat on a lot more than just normal this year. You know,
There's a lot of boats.
And we're not saying. A lot of guys might be like, "Oh, it's the fall and stuff." I'm like, no. We've all been fishing a long time, so we're not just throwing that out there.
fall's always tough.
Fall's always tough.
Here's one I had today. Like, this needs to go out. All you sports riders, outdoor sports riders, and all these.
Oh, this is
I've
great.
read For 30 years of my life, and how everybody's in the deer stand and the bass are chomping while you're up there, and you just don't realize what you're missing. You guys should have gone fishing before you wrote those articles, because I've been doing this my whole life, and we fish a lot in the fall. I don't deer hunt, and it's pretty well tough from September until Christmas time.
Now here's the problem.
Depending on the lake.
There are some lakes.
If you come to Rayburn, okay.
Look at Gunnersville. Look at all the Elite Series.
I know.
Santee Cooper. Look at the weights, dude.
I don't deer hunt.
The deer stand would be better. I'm just saying that the articles are, those riders quit reading them because they don't know what they talk about.
I don't deer hunt in the fall because in November on Rayburn,
You smash on it.
dude, I'll go every single day. It'd be the most phenomenal fun fishing you've ever
I agree.
had.
It's Thanksgiving. Somewhere in there is when it starts, not Christmas.
No, November, like, dude, it's phenomenal.
See,
we have grass, and it's different. Like,
No, it goes in Oklahoma.
what you have problems on most of these lakes is what's happening even on. I saw it on Cherokee today. It has changed in the last 2 or 3 days. Them shad are moving. You can't catch them fish. Because them bass roaming with them.
When there's too many.
That's part. Yeah.
It's not that there's too many.
No,
It's
there's
that they
just
roam
one
with them,
time. Yeah.
and they follow 300. If bass are on perch, right, on a perch bed, there's
Perch
20
on the
perch
bank.
up there,
And
and they're on the bank, and the bass go feed on that one section of perch. them shad, there's 300 of them,
And they're-
and that bass just sits behind it, and then your boat comes along, and the shad freak out because of your trolling motor. They do this, and the bass comes up there and explodes, and you're like, gosh dang, there's bass here. There's been bass there the whole time, and they just sit on that ball of shad wherever that ball of shad goes. And they do it. They do it all over the lake. And
Live Scope has actually shown us that, like just to the degree.
I didn't want to say that, but that's why that's why we're talking about the pressure.
And that continues through the winter. They do the same thing. So they start that in September.
Yeah.
It gets heavier as the fall goes, and then by winter they're still doing it. And that's when the A-rig came in, and it triggered those fish. Like goes a group of shad.
There's a group of shad.
There I am underneath them. It's going really slow and hardly moving. Let me eat it. It fooled every big bass in every lake in the country.
But now with the mapping and the technology and everything, and you get on a place like Cherokee, and there's this bank, like you could win a tournament off the bank, and there's no one on the bank, and everyone's you just see everyone. Like the couple spots that I found, I don't even like driving by them. Like every time I drive by them, my heart just sinks because I'm like,
There's a boat.
there's a boat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call this. I don't know who this guy is. I mean, I saw him today. I told Hallman, I'm like, I called both of y'all. I said, no, look at this guy. He just caught a fish. It looks like a big one. And I was a long ways away. I know exactly what place it was and whatever. And I'm like, okay. And I could tell he was fishing something that he didn't need to set the hook on. And 10 minutes later, catches another one. It's a big one too. Both of them are big because I'm 300-400 yards away and I can see it jump. And I'm just going, look, man, there ain't that many of them that want to bite right now. I don't understand why you set the hook on the first one, but you saw the first one was big. Now the second one, and I just sit in my head, I'm like, that's why we can't catch anything. It only takes a couple, man. There's 200 guys out here, everyone catches 3 a day, that's 600 fish. Over 5 days, you do the math.
Dang, I caught like 20 today, so golly, can you imagine?
Then you got guys like Andrew. You were just weeding out the small ones.
I was.
He's so good, dude. He just wins every time he comes here. He ain't worried about it.
I've only come here once.
Like I said, every time you come here, you win.
I can get dead last in this one. I can promise you that.
This one was a very morning afternoon deal, and it has become I don't know what today was. It was no better.
I'll tell you what summed this place up for me today. I want Andrew to tell a story because this did sum it up. You need to explain what happened to you, Andrew, the guy you ran into, and what he said to you up in the river today. Because I was listening to Andrew call me, told me the story, and I was like, dude, that's spot on. What's wrong with this place?
I think go.
So I'm up there. I ran almost as far up the river as you could run today, and I was like, I'm gonna go catch a largemouth because I'm just over it. And I'm idling back in this little pocket, and Cody Hayner is idling out. And I stop, and I'm already fishing, and he idles up.
Shout out to Cody leading day one of Hartwell with a 20-pound bag.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Attaboy.
And he's like, man, this place is terrible. I was like, yeah, no, it's real bad. He said, you know what? He said, you know what's bad when the guy who blew it out last year is up the river fishing for a largemouth when he knows where all those smallmouth are.
Yeah, blew it out catching smallmouth.
Catching smallmouth.
Good point.
And then I'm like, yeah.
But Andrew told me that, I was like, what are you doing in the river again?
Yeah.
He's
I was like,
it's so bad.
I mean, because I just kind of hit a point where I was like, what you're talking about. I got tired of playing merry-go-round boats on every single spot. It didn't matter if the spot looked good. Like, I could go fish the most awful-looking spot down there, and it still had merry-go-round boats. And I just got tired of doing it.
I keep going to the bank because I keep seeing some, and I keep thinking, like, if this weather changes, but I still don't know how to catch them.
Oh, yeah.
And they're every half a mile to a mile, I see one or two. And then you'd win the tournament. The fish I've seen, they're not giants. I mean, I saw 4-pounder a day. 3-pounders are going to win this thing. 15 pounds a day is going to blow this thing out.
Blow it out. And
Blow it
nobody's going to do that.
No one's going to do that. So, I mean, I'm seeing enough fish up there, but it's just like,
I'm calling it right now. It won't take more than 11 and a half a day.
Dude, the limit of days is going to be tough. Okay.
11 and a half, because you're talking the first 2
He's
days.
probably gonna catch like 15, 13, and 10, or 15, 13, and 9, or something.
Yeah.
Okay, look.
That last day's cold front, like bluebird skies.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
terrible.
after 3 days of guys winging on them on the same spots. And these
so
stupid
bad.
these small, I think, stupid. They come and look at your bait and they're like, nah, I'm good.
I'm good.
So look, I've been saving this for y'all. I've been saving this for 3 days. You know how hard this is for me to save this for y'all? I'll put this up just like I did the last one. This is good. Y'all gotta come look at this. This is like day one. You hear? Come here. Y'all gotta look at this. So I edited it up. Okay, hold on. I gotta make sure. Okay, hold on. I don't want. Okay.
What was that?
Yeah.
Exactly. What was it?
This is good. This is good. Okay, you ready? So I'll put this up there, guys, for y'all to see. Okay, hold on.
You gotta turn the volume up.
Yeah, well, it's not.
Do you know how to press play?
Yeah, well, it's pressing.
Why'd you get that out of your
Oh
hand?
my gosh.
Go the other way. You're
What's
one
that
throw
naked
away.
girl?
Oh my
No,
gosh,
come on,
what is
guys.
that?
You gotta give me a warning next time. Oh no, it's fine. I like it. It caught me off guard at first. No, I didn't fall. I said, man, I knew exactly what you were doing when I saw him. Hey, I hear you. I know. No, sir.
We shoot fireworks?
You know, okay. Did you hear in the background?
The geese.
The geese.
Yeah.
So some geese had gotten in this guy's yard, and so he comes down there every day. Dude, but I'm in this pocket, and y'all, dude, it's been glass, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm just in this pocket 9 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, whoa, man. I freaking, it sounded like he was shooting at me. And I'm like,
You know he peed a little bit.
oh
He had
my,
to
dude,
pee.
I jumped. Like, I got almost big scared.
Definitely jumped.
Dude, I jumped at the first, now the second one I was ready for. But the first one, and then geese
So what
already,
did he start doing? Start shooting at him after that?
so he shoots these fireworks like this one thing, and they just go in the water. And he gets mad at him again and shoots that other firework at him. At this point, I'm cool with it. So then I'm like, I gotta say something to this old man. And I said, man, you gotta give him a little warning. He said, oh, he thought I was upset. And I was like, no, as soon as I see them geese, he said, man, them geese, once they make that your yard their residency, they'll show up every day. So he don't let any of them freaking land there.
Why don't they shoot him?
Well, they can't. I think they're regulated around here or something.
You want me to tell you how you get rid of them?
Shoot him.
Mm-mm.
Shoot him.
You get a
Shoot
white,
him,
you
Elizabeth.
get a white
You
rope.
shoot him, Elizabeth. Shoot him.
Listen, they were coming to my backyard, and a buddy of mine just happened to be at my house that day. And so they poop in the yard, and then I let my dogs out to go pee.
Dogs eat poop.
Yeah, and get sick. All right, so my buddy said, dude, and they're walking up my boat ramp, right? And then they're going over, and I got like a seawall, so then they hang out right there. But they don't fly to the seawall. They walk up the boat ramp. He said, hang a white rope and do it like that. They won't cross it. It's like, that sounds too easy. I did it and then stopped them instantly. Instant.
And so where do they go now?
It's in my neighbor's yard.
He put some corn over there and they go over there.
Yeah.
every day.
White rope.
Hey, even when you put a bag of corn in your neighbor's yard, they go straight over there.
Yeah, they don't mess with my yard.
Billy's
no
at
more.
night throwing corn in the neighbor's yard going, look at it. That white rope worked good.
Shotgun fixes it instantly too. Instantly. It's amazing. Instantly.
Yeah, he's out there shooting fireworks, dude. But listen,
so good.
listen. You got to do this with every animal, okay? Cockroaches, wasps, all kinds of things, all nuisance of insects or animals. They're doing that. When you kill one, you leave it there.
Let the others see it.
Gotta let the other ones know you mean business. So if you shoot a goose, you leave it right there and let all the other gooses. Let all the other gooses know you mean business. And they're like, oh, that guy's shooting goose up there. Not geese. He's just shooting one. But he liable to shoot some more.
Yeah.
Liable to shoot 2 gooses.
So when you stomp on a cockroach in the kitchen, you just
Oh, you gotta leave it there and let the other cockroaches know that you mean business.
They don't care. They're cockroaches.
No, they care, man. They know.
They're cockroaches. They don't
Listen.
care.
Billy, man, if Billy had a brother, right?
Billy had a brother.
If Billy had a brother, like if Billy had a Billy got a bass, if Billy had a brother, and all of a sudden Billy looks up and Billy's brother's dead on the ground, he's like, man, I don't know what happened, man, but I ain't getting close. I ain't getting next to that.
You know what Billy's brother's name would be? Billy got a buck.
Listen,
Billy got a buck. Billy got a bass.
if you see a cockroach, there's no point in stepping on it and killing it. Because if you see one, you got 1,000, man.
No, they don't care about the one dead one.
Are you talking about cockroaches? So we got tree roaches at our house.
No, we're talking about cockroaches.
No, like the big giant ones that fly. Those are like the big tree. They live in pine trees.
The cockroach.
Like so they're big ones. They're the big giant ones. They live in pine trees. They're bad around East Texas and stuff. They call them something different in Florida. But my bass whiskey, he likes to eat them cockroaches. He don't like them as much as shad and worms, but he will eat one.
What do they call them in Florida?
I don't know, but the guy.
I heard it's come out of Cuba.
Yeah. So when we went, me and Brittany went and ate dinner when we were down there at Pensacola, and we ate at the bar, and something ran across the deal, and I was like, it kind of caught my eye over there, and he goes, oh, the so-and-so's, and I'm like, you know how you go to a different state and they got something different there that you
Drop
know?
a comment below if you know what they're called in Florida.
And he was like, that's a so-and-so, and I'm like, oh, I want to see one of these things. And then like 15 minutes later, we're outside and one pops up and he's like, oh, there's something. I'm like, that's a roach. It's a cockroach. I go, that's a tree roach. He goes, no, that's something. And I'm like, yeah, those are, I don't know what those are. But he calls them something different.
Yeah.
He calls them something different. Not like a cucaracha or something.
Cucaracha or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cockroach.
Maybe they call it a cucaracha. I don't know. Well, I thought a cucaracha is the dance.
All right.
Come
Somebody
on.
drop a comment. Let us know.
Yeah. McCoy, it's fine. You can. It's
Come
not-
on
it's
in.
not like you're-
No big deal. You're not interrupting the show.
Yeah, I mean, you stomp around
McCoy's
like
still
that.
in his cowboy boots and his Wranglers from Texas. We're proud of him.
We're not proud of him.
No.
I'm proud of him.
We're not proud of him. Butterfingers?
He's not wearing little skinny jeans.
Too soon?
Is it? Can we call you Butterfingers from now on?
It's too soon.
Too soon?
Too soon. Too soon.
Too soon.
Alright. Can I say it?
Oh yeah, you can say it.
It's too soon.
It's too soon?
No, it's not too soon. It's never too
for
soon.
video.
Okay, so Andrew calls me up today and he was like, man, have you heard what happened? I said, no. He goes, man, McCoy was messing around today and dropped a hard drive and broke it. It only had about 6 to 7 videos that they were completely done that they were going to release for Scott. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll understand how much
And all the footage.
time, effort, work, footage that goes in. Guys, it's insane.
It's irreplaceable.
And we have had the last couple tournaments. I have had a day where my GoPro stopped working. I just didn't pay attention to it, and like it's like a bad feeling inside when you're like, holy crap! I just had this awesome day or had a pretty cool, and it's not there. I couldn't imagine having full edited videos going done,
Just
gone.
all that work, man. I can't. I know.
It's not even that it's all edited. The bad thing is, so then they took it all off those cards, right? The actual
Like we all do,
raw
delete 'em.
footage,
and deleted.
put it on the hard drive, and then deleted the cards.
Which we all do.
Recording
Yeah.
stuff for this week. So not only is all your edited footage gone, but now you can't even go back and get the raw
Can't go
footage to
get it.
re-edit it because
No.
it's gone.
Yeah, it wouldn't be so bad if you could go back and get the footage.
Yeah,
No,
that would
no
at least
problem.
make it better.
Yes.
This is gone.
No.
It would suck. It'd be more work, but like it wouldn't even be a big deal.
Mm.
But not having the footage is the worst part.
Yeah.
So
Bad day.
Is it bad?
Yeah, it was bad for
Cherokee has not been great on it. I had a flat tire.
That's why we need Bassmaster therapy, because we were all seriously, guys. Seriously, this is the closest we have all been at each other's throat tonight.
We had a dishwashing episode.
We've had a lot of things this week, and this week's just really honestly began after, give us the first day of the tournament. Let's see how we are that night. It could get really bad around
Listen, the good things. Like today, guys, can I talk about your deal
What deal?
at dinner?
Yeah.
We
Think
were
it's
talking
bad.
about
Yeah,
Good.
dude, I don't care about that.
this is my new thing. High, low, high, man. Like every once in a while, someone shocks you with something that's a really good idea, and this is really good. I'm being honest. Like I can't wait to do this with my family. High, low, high. Explain it.
It's just a deal we do every night at dinner with our family. I try to, because you know how life is. I mean, the kids are at school. You got one kid here, one kid at
Such a
school.
great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Mom's at work or I'm fishing or whatever. But the one time we get together is try to at night, every night at dinner, we get the whole family there. And so to get little kids talking who don't want to talk, and quite honestly, adults were guilty of the same thing. We play a game called High, Low, High, and everyone has a turn, and it goes around the table in order, clockwise or counterclockwise. And you talk about your high of the day, your low of the day, and then you finish with a high of the day. So everybody has two highs and one low of their entire day. And so then it just kind of starts a conversation of things that happen. We have a child that had a low that's really bad. It stands out real quick, and then we can all, as a family, talk about it. So it just kind of helps go through the...
Well, you know, I had a flat tire yesterday. Andrew gets off the water. Hallman goes and gets the lights for us and everything. The next thing I know, Andrew's out there the whole time with me changing it. I've changed 1,000 flat tires. I can do it all on my own. It's not a big deal. And Andrew's still out there helping me with it. Hallman's inside cooking dinner. Billy's helping. And then we all had bad days. Like, it was just like Scott had the worst day.
Today,
I was pretty frustrated at the end of the day, and weird stuff, trying to get dinner stuff and things at the end of the day. And then we do this high, low, high thing, and I'm like, what highs? And so, you know what I'm saying? But then we do them, and you're like, one of them was like, hey man, my high is home and cooking dinner tonight. And then, hey, my high is all of us hanging out. And I was going, dude, we got a lot of highs. We sometimes just focus on the lows. But you look around going, man, if our low is that we didn't catch any fish today,
puts life in perspective.
and that's why I was so appreciated, because I sat back and go, I've been doing this with my family, because even the lowest of lows, you're like, you got to mention two highs, and you can find, it ain't hard to find two highs. It really ain't.
It's easier to find highs than lows.
It really is. Like you know your specific low,
Right.
but to find two lows.
Yeah.
See, it's easy to find two highs. It'd be hard to find two lows. Because your one low is your one low.
I don't know, sometimes it depends on the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, you know.
But you
yeah,
can always,
usually
but you can
everyone
always,
has a
there's going to be
really
days
low.
you can't find a low.
But
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
you can
think-
always
I
find
think
highs.
the whole concept of that, though, is, I mean, if you think deep into it,
Oh.
is the fact is when you're on the water and you're having that bad day, you're like, you know what, this is a low, but I've got all these other great things, and it kind of helps you reset that mindset.
Did
and
you
get-
got bassing
Yeah.
and therapy? There it is, bassing and therapy.
Yeah.
High, low, high. That's it.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, we done?
Yeah.
All right.
See y'all. Dude, what a freaking ending.